Hello there, it's very good to be able to speak with you today. Can I start by apologising for the issues we had this morning with the streaming? I'm going to show. I'm going to be very dull. I'm going to show you some of the telemetry for which I can see and what happened over the on for the service today. The red bits are where the laptop has not quite been able to cope with trying to stream the service as well as have the PowerPoint with the words up as we have been doing in the past. As such, I am going to suggest that I will do the service from home at least for the next Sunday, and I'm going to be writing to the PCC and standing committees just to try and figure out what we're going to do longer term, because it's a problem where we can't actually stream the service from the church. And actually, when we can start thinking about regathering, there'll be other. I think we're going to need to look at doing a hybrid service, so a service which is both with us physically gathered, but also with us, with those who are unable to attend, receiving from home, which I suspect is going to be the next stage. And actually, it's really good to see so many people engaging with the service, both on Facebook and on YouTube. And part of this is that actually there are those who are not necessarily coming through the door on a Sunday morning, but who still want to be able to pray, want to be able to spend time with God, and so are utilising the services when they can, which is really rather lovely, and it's a really good thing. What I want to be able to talk about actually is that the churches are just about ready to reopen. I'm going to, part of my letter to the PCC is just getting them to kind of give the go-ahead for the risk assessment, which I, with the standing committees for both churches, have worked through. If I can give you a bit of context, there was a risk assessment sent out at the end of May, and I sat down with both the standing committees and we filled it out. Lovely, brilliant. Then the announcement came out that we were going to open on the 15th rather than on the 4th of July. Okay, we need to get this running quickly. So we started to make sure everything was all okay. And then 2 days later, there was a new risk assessment came out. And so started looking through that. There's a few extra bits and pieces. Okay, that's fine. Then on Friday, so a couple of days ago, let me go back. Midweek, we had the suddenly changed the date from the 15th to the 13th. So yesterday, when we could open if we wished to. Okay, that's pretty short notice. We can't really do that. We'll still look for the 15th. But still, we hadn't had any guidance. Actually, the document which we'd want to see from the government saying this is what we've got, this is what the situation is. So we carry on doing what we're trying to do and try and do the best we can. And on Friday, we were then given the official guidance, and that official guidance came a new risk assessment. So we've got a third version in a week, and so we're just trying to finish those off, get those ready, and get those sorted and settled. And then we can actually start thinking about trying to reopen. And it's a challenge because actually, St Thomas's and St Mary's are enclosed spaces. They are large spaces, but they are enclosed spaces. And it's how can we make sure that we keep people as safe as possible while still allowing them to come in to pray. This is before we even think about actually how are we going to do services, how are we going to be able to gather as a worshipping community. So what I do is I'm going to put the black screen back on and just show you some of the pictures of how the church is going to look for the foreseeable future. This may change because, as was announced this morning, the government's now going to review whether it's 2 meters or 1 meter. To be fair, it's really difficult to try and keep up with quite what's going on. This is not trying to be anti-government. It's more just it's frustrating because the advice and the guidance keeps changing. And for us mere mortals trying to keep up is challenging. So let me just pull up the photos and show you what we're going to see. So this is St Thomas's first, just to give you an idea of how it will look. So as you can see, we've got fewer brown chairs. The brown chairs are not to be used. The white chairs are the ones which can be wiped down. These are the ones which we can use safely and will allow us to actually allow people to come in. They are all spaced out apart so that people won't be in each other's socially distanced zones, and so hopefully they will be the right space. And this gives you a side view. So thank you to David A for rearranging the church and also for taking these photos for me. So this gives you an idea. So we've only got about 2, 4, 6, about 8 chairs out, 9 chairs out. Sorry. So this is very much a limited number of people, and the idea will be that you will come in through the west door as you're used to, but to go out you're going to go out through the south door. So through the covered door, which we don't use that often, to reduce the number of people who are going to be coming through to each other. David will be there to greet you, and there'll be hand sanitizer as well. So then we go to St Mary's. So I've done this to St Mary's, which is it's stark when you get there, and actually it does feel quite strange. So I've tried to cluster chairs into small groups and individuals. So when this bit here is more for when we can open properly. But actually over at the side altar, as you can see over here, there are individual chairs which will be available for the prayers initially. So I'm going to keep this space closed off just for the moment, because otherwise to try and clean it all is going to be quite a big job, because each chair has to be wiped down after each usage. But over in the side altar, where the sacrament is kept, the candle stand, which you can just see here, that is there for your prayers, and there'll be a lit candle. So if you wish to light a candle, if you pick it up, just pick the candle up, light it from the candle which is burning, and then put it back down. It means there's no cross-contamination there. You will come in through the south door as we would do normally, but you'll exit through the north door, so through the link door. This will, if you are in need of step-free access, which I know some people do, then we'll come in and exit through the north door, but that will be the exception and not the rule. So for most people, if you are able to manage the couple of steps coming in through the south door as you would do normally, we'll come in that way, and we'll go out through the north door to reduce the risk of cross-contamination as well. There'll be hand sanitizer set up, so please do make use of that. And then we'll be there'll be space to pray over here. I'll be sitting up the back here to greet people, and so we'll hopefully be able to make sure we keep people safe. There's one extra photo there just to give you an idea of what it will look like. When you're coming to church, so I'm going to turn the screen back off. If I make myself a little bit bigger, hello puppy. So when you're coming to church, if I could ask that you make use of the hand sanitizer which will be made available to you, I'd also recommend a face covering. There's lots of talk about actually whether face coverings work or not, and whether they will work to protect the person wearing it or the other person. The World Health Organization says that you should when you can't socially distance. Both the churches, as I said earlier, are in closed spaces. And so when you're breathing, actually whatever you breathe out, if you do have any asymptomatic infection, will be in that atmosphere. I would highly recommend that you do wear a face covering. Okay, either a cloth mask or or something more substantial if you have it, so that you can protect others who may be coming. Because actually, those who do come to church, quite a lot of us are vulnerable. Quite a lot of us are elderly. Quite a lot of us are more, are in that vulnerable group, and so potentially could come to harm. So please do consider, if you can, wearing a face mask. Obviously, if you can't, that's okay, but we'd really would like you to do so. Please make use of the hand sanitizer available. There'll be posters up, so you'll see where that is. It should all be nice and clearly labelled for you, to hopefully make it as stress-free and as uncomplicated as possible, to allow you to be able to spend time in church, in prayer. And then when we can regather, we will then have to be trying to figure out the best way to do that as well. So that's that element there. The other thing I want to talk about is what it means to be privileged. And there's the whole thing that's going on at the moment with the protests is rather worrying, and there's a lot going on. And I just want to think about. I mean, so when I finished my A-levels, after I went travelling, and I went to India, and so I worked really hard. So I worked for about 6 months in order to earn enough money for my ticket and for my travel. And so, yeah, I wasn't working when I went out there, and as far as I could say, I wasn't rich. But actually, constantly had in India people coming and asking me for money. And it was really difficult, because actually you want to try and help people at the same point. It's like, well, actually, I haven't got much. And I was chatting to a reporter for the Hindustan Times when I was out there, quite randomly met, and we went to lunch, which was lovely. And we were discussing this, saying, what's going on? And he said, well, you are rich. I said, well, how do you think that? Because this is a very well-educated man. He was the chief political correspondent who'd been to London lots of times, and he wanted to be able to practice his English while we got chatting. And he said, well, you've got the money to travel to India. That automatically makes you rich. You have money to be able to go and stay in nice hotels, beyond what a local person begging could actually ask for. You have the ability to, you to go off and do amazing and wonderful things. This is privilege. This is a richness which the people who are begging do not have. And it really struck me because actually these things are all relative to each other. If, actually I've never had to worry that the colour of my skin will make me a target. I've never had to worry that my name will kind of predetermine people's viewpoints. This is privilege. The fact I've been able to travel to amazing countries, I've worked for it, but the fact I've been able to do so, that is privilege. And this is, when people talk about white privilege, this is exactly what it is. And actually, quite often, we may never even have thought about it. It may never even entered into our consciousness, because actually it's never been a problem. Again, this is privilege. And so this is, just to leave you with that little thought, which is actually the things which we take for granted are so often things which others do not have. We think about, actually, if you think about your homes, if you are living in a house, if you've got a garden, that's a privilege. If you're living in a flat and you don't, that's something which you do not have. If you've got a bedroom for every person who needs one in the house, that is a privilege. Whereas if you've got your children or grandchildren having to share a bedroom, that is not. It is all relative. And it is something which we need to be mindful of, because actually it's so easy to get blasé, to think actually we live in a nice village. We live where we've got nice open spaces not too far away from us. This is real privilege. And so when we see all this happening on the news, never forget actually what we do have, and it's a wonderful, amazing gift. It's a really wonderful, great thing. So when we can open, please do come and pray, but also give thanks for what we do have, and just be mindful of those things which we often take for granted, because that which we take for granted is to somebody else an amazing gift, and something which we should be eternally grateful for, and we should be ensuring that as many people as possible have access to. Just one final note for next week, for next Sunday, I will say the BCP communion here at home, just because my computer, my desktop, has got the capacity to stream properly without actually causing issue, and then we'll have the pre-recorded family service as well. But if you need me in the meantime, please do give me a ring, give me an email. I'd love to speak to you if you need me. I'll be trying to call round as well, and do my best with that. But until we can see each other again, God bless, stay safe, and look after yourselves. Bye-bye.